Hello, welcome to class. So this is a really special class that we're going to do today. We're going to focus on the upper half of the body. So in traditional Chinese medicine, we're going to focus on the heart and the lungs, and their paired organs are the small and large intestine. So we're going to focus on that. As well as from a physical perspective, we're going to be looking at opening up the lungs. And what's interesting is that as we open up the lungs, we open up the neck, we open up the shoulders, we open up the upper back, like it's all connected, right? So as we start to open up this area, then we are able to more easily facilitate deeper breaths, making it just so much easier to actually take a deep breath, because when everything here is very stuck and tight, then it becomes really challenging to actually take a deep breath without it feeling like a really laborious process. So as we open up all of that, we're actually also going to help to clear the lungs themselves, which at this time of year, when we're still in a winter season, the thing is that right now, between like the frost and the melt type of like situations that we're getting, where we're getting a lot of fluctuations with the weather, there's a lot of mold that sits in snow. And so as it sits there and the snow starts to defrost, the mold actually comes up and it creates conditions that make it difficult for us to breathe deeper. So we end up with like more allergies and like sinus stuff going on as well. So this practice, aside from opening up us physically, we're also just going to move some of the energy around so that if, you know, things are feeling a little stagnant in the lung area, you're going to be able to help clear that out. Okay. You will definitely need a strap or some kind of like belt or scarf or tie for this practice, as well as 2 blocks. Okay. If there's anything else that you like to bring into your practice, like a bolster or, you know, pillows or blankets, you're more than welcome to bring those along as well. We're going to start seated. So I'm going to recommend that you sit up on something. So that could be like a cushion, it could be a block. You could sit cross-legged like I am. You could also sit Seiza style if you prefer to sit on your knees, okay? As long as your ankle and knee joints are okay with that. We're going to start off with a little bit of graceful bow to open up the front of the chest, the shoulder, a little bit of the upper back, and of course the neck as well. Okay. So let's take the pardon me, let's take the right arm out from the right shoulder. Turn your palm back away and then just slowly bring your hand. So the back of your hand is either going to rest right at the center of your sacrum, so just above your tailbone, or for some of you, especially if you're super tight right here, take your arm out a little bit more so that it rests more towards the outer right part of your lower back, okay? Try to avoid twisting in any way or torquing through your spine. You want to have a nice straight spine. If for some reason, even over here is like, ooh, that's still a little intense, you could just bring your hand actually onto your hip and just slightly pivot the elbow back. But you're still keeping the shoulders in line and you're not twisting, okay? And then the opposite arm can just relax wherever it feels comfortable. Make sure you're sitting up nice and tall. Close your eyes once you've found sort of that ideal shape to land into. If you're wearing glasses, I invite you to take them off. So take the one hand and take your glasses off so that you don't have that physical reminder on your face. And then create a layer of separation between the upper and lower molars inside your mouth. Like you could literally slide your tongue between the upper and lower set of teeth. Let the tongue sort of gravitate towards the roof of the mouth in its natural state for relaxation and to allow the vagus nerve to be stimulated. invoking that shift into a parasympathetic state. And let yourself begin to breathe in a way that feels natural and organic to you. It doesn't have to be a really deep, deep breath pattern, but it's a smooth one. So meaning your inhale will just naturally flow towards the exhale, and the exhale will flow back towards the inhale. Now, only if this position that you're in feels okay. So it's not too intense in sensation. Feel free to let your left ear slightly dip down towards the left shoulder. You can also play a little bit with the chin. So you could move your chin down and kind of like making little circles if you like. You might just move your chin into a direction where, oh, this all of a sudden now feels different. And I can access some of the tissue along the right side of the neck. But it's not too deep. You can still maintain a really deep breath pattern. And then your back fingers, even if your hand is on your hip, can you separate your fingers a little bit wider from one another so that you begin to stimulate a little bit deeper through the channels of the heart and lung, small and large intestine, all of these meridian channels that actually begin in your fingers. So as you separate your fingers, you're actually starting a deeper sense of flow of energy and blood through those channels that flow up in through the arm, down into the chest, down into the abdominal cavity. Anything sharp, shooting, sort of electrical or numbing comes up for you, I want you to reposition your arm, meaning you might just shake it out for a bit, just get that blood flowing back again. And then feel free to join us back into the shape. And of course, you can always bring your head back to center if you tilted it, if you start to feel like the neck stretches a little too much. I have about 30 seconds left here. Imagine yourself drawing the breath all the way up into the very top of your lungs. Maybe even feeling it through your upper back. Last 2 rounds of breath. Now, if your head is tilted, bring your head back so it's in center. And then just slowly start to drape your right hand around. And then just let the palm of the hand land on your lap so that your arm is supported. Feel that trickle of blood flowing back down through the arm, back through into the fingertips. Maybe feeling a little bit of warmth sensation there. Might even be a little bit of a pulse or a vibration to it. One more deep breath. And then let the eyes softly open for a moment. We're going to continue working on that right side. We're going to take a variation of twisted branches. If you want to position your legs in a different way, like if you're sitting cross-legged and you want to flip out the leg position, you can. And then from here, you're going to take that right arm back out from your shoulder. And then fingers spread out nice and wide. And then you're going to start to bring your arm forward. Think of your arm like a lever and then over towards the left. So now your palm is facing backwards. You're going to take your left arm and right at the crease, the elbow crease, you're going to place your right forearm in that little hollow crease between where your elbow bends. Okay? And then start to draw your left fingertips up so that your palm starts to face towards you. Okay. Now, for most of us, what happens is that right shoulder kind of like dips up. So like it's like a little bit of a teeter-totter dance. So I want you to see if you can drop the right shoulder down. For some of you, that might mean you have to bend that right elbow more instead of having the arm straight, okay? And then how much you draw that left hand towards you really depends on your range of motion. If you're super tight, your arm might be out a little bit more. So your right forearm might not necessarily be landing on your chest, and that's okay. All right. Then you're sitting up tall. Close your eyes once you've landed here. And as you start to breathe a little bit more deeply, let those fingers on both hands this time really spread out wide so that you're truly activating all these meridian channels in the fingertips. Making sure that your shoulders have plenty of space. So meaning you're not drawing your shoulders up towards your ears. Think of sliding the shoulder blades down your back. Jaw is soft. Face is relaxed. And you're fully breathing in. And you're fully breathing out. Again, at any point, if you feel like things are getting a little bit numb or tingly, just shake your arms out. It's very common when we're working these channels that there can often be a little bit of nerve compression or a little bit of stagnation of blood flow through the veins and through the vessels. So shake out as you need to, maintaining a nice, long, slow, and smooth breath. We have about 40 seconds left here. A little bit of a shorter hold. Take one more round of breath in and out through the nose. And then let the arms release as you bring the palms of your hands back down onto your lap. Let the blood flow back down through its natural course as you take about 2 or 3 deep breaths. You'll likely feel more sensation pulsing through the right side, but you'll also feel some vibration down through the left as well. And then for a moment, just actually give the arms a shake, just so that, especially with the next pose, which we're going to use the strap, sometimes the arms can get a little tingly. Okay. I'm just going to reposition. I'm going to come to sit on my heels, but feel free to readjust your position if you need to. But if it's working for you, stay as you are. And then find your strap. So we're going to continue on the right side again. So as you find your strap, you're going to take it into the right hand and you're going to draw the arm up. The elbow is going to be out on an angle. So I want you to think of pointing your elbow to like 2 o'clock. Okay? And then you're going to take the strap in the left hand and you're going to point the left elbow out. So it's on an angle. So it's like, think of your elbow like a lever. So the left arm, you want to think about drawing the elbow forward, and then the right is going back. Now you might not necessarily look like me. Your arms might be out more, especially if you're really tight in your neck and upper back. So I want you just to find what feels right in your body, okay? Your spine should be long. Your belly is drawn in, so meaning you're not pushing your chest forward and creating like this big arch in your spine. So we're not looking for that. Okay? Think of it almost as if you were sitting up against a wall. And then chin is in line with your chest. So we're not dipping the head down at all. Okay? Nor are you looking up. Okay? And then you can close your eyes and start to breathe. Again, this isn't as long of a hold just because of the positioning of the arms and the blood flow. So we're maximizing the breath cycles. So as we open up these channels, we're creating the physical space to breathe more deeply, clearing out any physical imbalances that we might be holding in the upper part of our body. And we're also clearing out some of the heavier emotions that we can hold up there, such as grief, sorrow, sadness. depression, a little bit of anxiety. So as we hold, we make space to clear any of that out, in addition to any of the physical imbalances that we might be feeling there. Keeping your jaw soft again, making sure there is that layer of conscious hollow space between the upper and lower teeth. About half a minute left here. One more full breath. And then slowly start to slide the left arm down and the right arm up and out. You can just leave the strap kind of behind you, but let your arms come back down and your hands rest on your lap. Again, just letting the blood flow back. Most of us will probably feel a little bit more sensation down the right side. Just notice the unevenness in the upper half of your body. Almost as if your shoulders feel like they're on a seesaw. The slight imbalance. Notice your capacity to breathe. And then just notice how you feel overall, physically, energetically, emotionally. And then once again, let's just give the arms a little bit of a shake. We're going to take this whole sequence over onto the other side. So you can just leave your strap back there for now. And we'll start with a graceful bow. So feel free again, if you need to shake your legs out or move them around or massage anything, just take a moment for that. And if you feel like you need to take a different position to sit, by all means, absolutely. Okay. And then before we start on the left side, just draw your shoulders actually right up, as close into your ears as you can. Feel kind of that tension between your shoulder blades. Round your upper back just a little bit and tuck your chin to your chest. Take a deep breath in. And then just let everything go. Drop your shoulders, sit up nice and tall. And then let's start with graceful bow. Let's extend the left arm out this time. Your palm is facing forward to start with. And let's turn the hand back as we drape the back of the hand onto either the sacral plate or slightly to the left, or even hand on hip if that works. Okay. Shoulders are level, square to one another. You'll know if you're twisting because you'll feel it in your spine. Okay. And then chin in line with chest. Chest is proud. Back hand, the fingers are spread wide. So you can just feel the energy already beginning to be activated through your fingertips, through all those channels. Relax the face, soften the jawline. Start to move into your breath. Fully breathing in with a smooth inhale that cycles right into a smooth exhale. And again, it's your choice. If you want to play a little bit with some neck release through the left side, feel free to dip the right ear down and perhaps maybe even just move the chin around until you find kind of a sweet spot to land. I have about 40 seconds left here. Let your breath grow. Feel the rhythm of the inhale to the exhale. One more deep breath in and out through your nose. And then you'll gently start to drape the arm around the left side until the palm of your hand lands on your lap. Pausing there. Letting the circulation flow back as you take 2 deep breaths. I'm starting to get a sense of the energy that's moving through your upper body, clearing out whatever you're holding on to. And then as you're ready, you'll take that left arm back out from your left shoulder, palm facing forward. You'll start to draw the arm forward and across the body, bending the elbow as you need to so that your shoulders stay in line, and then bringing the right elbow crease to land onto the forearm. And then as you draw that hand up, you're drawing the left forearm in a little bit more towards the chest. And again, it's not about how deep you draw things in. It's about maintaining the integrity of your spine in alignment and your shoulders soft. And then spreading out all 10 fingers, and finding your breath. Can you feel your breath expanding up through your back, but also out through your rib cage, so that this breath now becomes very circular in motion, as opposed to just up and down. Have about half a minute left. Two more cycles of breath. Slowly unwind the hands, the arms. Let the hands again just rest down onto the thighs, palms facing down. Just feel all the activation through your arms, through these channels, through the chest, the upper back. Give the arms a little shake, just in case there's a little bit of residual blockage there. And then find your strap. And we'll take the strap into the left hand to start with. And as we draw the arm up, we draw the elbow out to like 10 o'clock. And then we find the other side of the strap in the right hand and we pivot that elbow down and on an angle as well. So if you're very open, you might find your elbow kind of wants naturally to draw itself back like mine does, but try to see if you can bring it out. Even that means bringing your hand out a little bit closer towards the outer right side of your hip joint and sacral iliac joint. Sitting up nice and tall, chin in line with the chest. Face is relaxed, jaw very soft here. So lots of space between upper and lower teeth. And lots of space between the bottom of your ears and the top of your shoulders. Look for that circular breath again that travels up and down and then left to right. Take your breath to its maximum capacity, where it doesn't feel like you're forcing or pushing it. In fact, you could even pause right at the very top of your inhales and your exhales and just feel that energy of being full of breath and then being empty of breath. Breathe out any tension you feel. Any heaviness that you feel. Three more rounds of breath. And then slowly start to release from the strap. You can take the strap, just place it to the side. We won't need that anymore. And then just, again, let your hands rest in your lap. Let your blood recirculate through your arms and your fingers. Hopefully things feeling a little bit more in alignment between the left and the right side of your body. And then let your eyes open if they were closed at this point. And if you're sitting on something, come off of your seat. Bring your blocks towards the top of your mat, but then just take your legs out in front for a moment and just give them a good shake. There's a lot of time that we were sitting on the heels or even with the knees bent. Just kind of massage in the inner thighs, the outer thighs, especially if there's like a little restriction of blood flow happening in there. And then for the rest of the class, we're going to be on to the back. The first pose we're going to take is actually fairly simple, but for some people, this is actually quite a challenge. So we're going to be laying on the back. The knees are going to be bent, feet are going to be grounded, and we're going to take the arms into a goalpost position where ideally the back of your hands, forearms are grounded. Now, for some people, that's actually not possible. So this is where you might be using your blocks, okay? So if you want to have your blocks to the either side of your mat, And as you come down, you want to have enough space on either side of you that you can take your arms into a goalpost position. Ideally, your elbows are in line with your shoulders. So if you kind of just like tilt your head from side to side, you can tell. Now they might be slightly down, that's okay. You don't want your elbows higher than your shoulders. And if the back of your hands and your wrists are not grounded, this is where you would take the blocks and you would actually just the edge, the short edge of the block would land so that your wrist crease would be supported by it. And so the back of your hand would rest on the top of the block and the wrist crease would be right on the edge of the block, okay? And then fingers again are spread wide. Draw your shoulder blades apart so that you actually feel the hollow space there flatten. Feet come a little bit wider than your hips, just to create some space in the low back. We keep the knees pointing up towards the sky. Chin is a slight dip down, but not intense, but just enough that you feel that gentle lengthening of the back of your neck. Now, as fingers spread wide, and this might be a little more challenging if the back of your hand is on a block, but try to spread out your fingers wide enough and see how many of my fingers can I actually flatten. Like, can you feel your nails actually in contact? Because for some people, that's actually not even possible. We hold a lot of physical tension in our hands. And as we do so, we actually start to limit not just the range of motion that's available in our hands, but actually these meridian channels. We actually restrict how the energy flows through them because our hands get so tight from texting and typing and holding on to devices and just gripping when we don't even realize that we are. Breathe in a way that feels that it's natural and it's flowing with ease and effortlessly all the way up through the front of your body. Notice if, as you flatten your hands, if at some point they naturally try to tense back up, and even your fingers might begin to try to curl themselves back up. Let everything soften. Feel a sense of joy, peace, lightness within the upper half of your body. And take 2 more complete breaths in and out through your nose. From here, start to heel toe your feet and your knees side by side. And then bring your arms down and draw your knees into your chest. And just find a gentle little rock here from side to side. Even just let your head rotate from side to side as well. And then as your feet come back down to the mat, you're going to roll over to one side just long enough that you can come up to grab your blocks. And we're going to finish off with supported fish. Everyone's favorite pose, myself included. Okay. So let's take a super supportive one, right? Lower block is going to go across your mat. Higher block for behind the head. And then make your way down. We're going to be here for a bit of time. So I encourage you to really pay attention to how this feels. If at some point you start to notice that perhaps this is a little too much, you can always bring your arms down closer towards your hips and your feet on the mat with your knees bent to facilitate a softer opening. And those of you that want to go a little deeper, the arms come up towards shoulder height. Legs can go long and wide. If you're craving some hip opening, feel free to take butterfly, whether it's for a short period of time or full extent of the pose. You can bring the soles of your feet together and open your knees. If you have additional props, you can certainly bring those underneath your thighs to support you in the butterfly. But let your head land heavy. Let your chest begin to melt. Feel the heart almost sinking backwards in towards that other block. Your jaw, once again, is soft. Face is relaxed. Let your fingertips actually slightly curl up now, but there's still lots of space between each one of your fingers. Feel an energy of joy and lightness and space and peace, tranquility in your upper body. As if there is nothing for you to hold on to. As you continue to rest here, breathing deep, I invite you to bring your mind's attention to the very edges of your collarbones towards your shoulders. And you don't need to move your arms or your hands at all. But as you imagine the edges of your collarbones, there's a little hollow just below the edge of the collarbones, like a little indentation. It's a little dip. If you really want to feel it because you just can't get that visual in your mind, then feel free to just take your hands right now and trace to the edges of your collarbones and just go below them, and you'll feel the little indentation there, okay? Maybe if you've put your fingers there for a moment, just press in for maybe 2 or 3 seconds, just to get a sensation there, and then let your arms go and bring them back out. Now, I love personally to envision as if I'm actually stimulating this point, this pressure point. It's called lung 1. The point is called letting go. It's a very powerful point. And they don't call it letting go for no reason. It's literally to let go of anything that you're holding on up there, whether that's physical tension, stress, anxiety, emotional imbalance. And you can imagine an indigo blue color radiating from each side where that point is. It's like a little circle, like a dot. And feel the dot, like notice it in your mind as it starts to pulse and radiate, allowing yourself to let go at a deeper level. Your mind is so much more powerful than you think. And even though you're not physically stimulating this point right now, the mere fact of actually bringing your attention to it and your arms in a position where you're actually activating the lung meridian channel that feeds up into that point is already, in essence, powerful enough to stimulate and create flow through the channel, just as if you would be actually stimulating it with your fingers. You feel yourself sinking a little more, actually getting heavier, letting go. Take a deep breath in, and then take a very long breath out. Let your arms begin to come down towards your hips, palms facing down. Walk your feet onto the mat, and then just slowly pivot yourself a little bit so that you can turn to one side and slowly make your way off the blocks. And then once you're off the blocks, you can take them to the side. And it's your choice today. You can either rest on your back here and find final relaxation. So come into Shavasana. Or if you prefer, you can find a seated meditation position, allowing yourself to sit up tall and grounded. If you're lying down, take your palms to face up. Walk your shoulder blades apart so that hollow space between your shoulders flattens once again. Fully relax from the bottom of your toes all the way up to the crown of your head. Feeling a lift and a lengthening through your body. Almost as if there is a course of white light flowing through from your feet all the way up through your legs, your torso, from your fingertips all the way up through your arms, through your back, all the way up into the head and out through the crown. Let your breath go. Let yourself go. Please take as much time as you need here. May your practice feel complete in your body and mind. May you feel a sense of peace, tranquility, and may you feel as though you have let go. Have a beautiful rest of your day, and thank you so much for joining me. Namaste.